Hello, and welcome to the man cave. It's like a coffee house, but there's one distinction. We only got men in here. Men who drink real coffee. Not like them $3 lattes like someone whose name I will not mention. Darcy! What is it with you women? You gotta have $3 or $4 coffees. It's a small coffee, but it's gotta have like 10 different things in it. And each of those things cost like 50 cents. So at the end of the day, you go to the coffee shop, and like the coffee is like between $3 and like $8 for a cup of coffee. If I want to pay $3 and $8 for something, sure as hell ain't gonna be coffee. Not unless that thing's liquored up real good. I mean, I'm serious. We went to Tim Hortons, all right? Tim Hortons doesn't really say expensive coffee, but it's getting there. It's getting there. And the kids, every drink that they had was between $2 and $3. Darcy, her drink was $3.50. And they get to me and they're like, "What would you like to have, sir?" "I just want a small coffee." "Really? What would you like in it?" "I just want a small coffee, black. No milk, no sugar, no frappe, no cocoa. Nothing." All right? Lady looked at me like I was a redneck from Arkansas. I felt sorry for her. But really, you don't want nothing in your coffee. Admit it, guys. You drink it black, straight, hard up. If anything goes in that coffee, it's going to be liquor. Admit it. Admit it. So we're getting to the news of the week, because that's the name of the show. News of the week. I thought there was going to be great gun control, right? We're having a gun control debate. They're debating now whether we should have background checks for the guns. And they say 91% of the people want background checks. But they don't want the government to save anything because that could lead to gun registry. And so we're in a problem. We're in a problem. How do you get the background checks and not have the gun registry? I mean, I know the answer to this because I tweeted out to you folks, and you folks on the Twitter, and you know whose yous are. I tweeted out to you a long time ago. I said, this is going to come down to the fact that you're going to need a passport to get a gun. Ain't it true? You are. You're going to need a passport to get a gun in this country. Better go out and buy them now. Gun sales are up the last 2 months, and nobody can figure out why. I mean, you got the MSNBC guys like, yeah, the gun sales are up. I don't know why. We don't need more guns out there. We need less guns out there. You got your CNN guy. He's out there. He's like, gun sales are up. Man, this is not linked to any political thing going on. It's just normal behavior for people to buy guns in January. There's more of a population. Then you go to Fox News and it gets even really wacko. Yeah, gun sales are up. They're up because the Democrats hold the Senate. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're going to blame gun sales on the Democrats? I got one word for you. Obama. Obama's out there, he's campaigning for gun control. He don't want people buying the AR-15 rifle with the 30-aught clip and the deer scope. He don't want people going down to Walmart paying $700 for that thing. No. Only thing worse than that is that AS-80 that the Syrian army's been seen with. Have you seen the YouTube on that thing? Man, that baby looks nice. You got the Syrian guy right there. He's got that thing propped up. He got it on his little stand. He's looking for the guy in the tank. Man, that baby look nice. I want me one of them things, man. Come on. They ain't fully automatic. It will pass the gun ban. Come on, AS-80 right there. I think they said it was a 11mm shell or something like that. It's like some off caliber. I'm like, cool. Can I get it in 9mm? I want a 9mm rifle, man. That's what I want. I just want to be able to sit there from like, I don't know, 3 miles away, and after I see a deer, I'm like, I want to get that before anything else, man. Deer won't even hear it coming. He'll just be like, oh my God, don't tell me that one. So anyhow, it's a slow news week. It's a slow news week, right? The United Nations passed gun legislation. Not so much for people like you or I, but for country. That's right. You can be all for God and country all you want. But if your country's selling arms to countries they don't like, you're in trouble, boy. You in trouble. They're going to sanction your rear end. You can't sell guns anymore to countries that have human rights violations. I can already see the problems with this. I can. You got China over there. They got human rights violations. You think the Chinese won't let you sell guns? They're knocking guns off, man. Chinese, they're getting the good Winchesters. Now they got the Zukka or something like that, right? I can't remember how it's spelled. Z-U-K-K-A or something like that. Which is basically your Winchester shotgun without the Winchester name on it. It's a knockoff. Some people say the Syrians, AS-80s, came out of China. China knocked it off. I'm like, man, China, if you can knock it off and knock the price down from $18.99 to something like, oh, I don't know, $1.50, I'll take one of them from you. I'll take one off your hands. So anyhow, the United States might not be able to sell guns to China anymore. We're certainly not going to be able to sell to Syria, who voted against the measure, or Iran for the same reason. Russia voted for it, but they've been giving arms to Iran and Syria already, so, you got to wonder what their logic is in that. I think they pretty much bled both those countries dry, and they say, we're giving up the ghost on that one. We're going to be selling to Zimbabwe now. No one lets Chinese knockoffs in there, so Russia's going to have to be selling them the right things, man. They're going to have to be selling them the AKs. Those AK-47s? The ones that don't jam? Anyhow, long story short, this bill passed the UN, and the United States voted for it, which is surprising considering the United States is one of the biggest gun sellers in the world. We'll sell to anybody to you. We don't care. You African? Man, we don't care. We'll sell it to you. You Asian? Man, we don't care. Buy our weapons. You European? Do you even have the money to buy our weapons anymore? So, the United States doesn't know how it's going to go down, right? And there's already people in our Congress saying, we're not going to ratify the treaty. This is basically gun control from the world. It's the UN telling us how to run our business. The UN trying to crack down on us. They're going to tell us what to do. And I'm thinking to myself, and this is the one thought that I have for all you gun control freaks out there, think that the UN's taking over the whole freaking world. Where in the world has the UN gone in and not fucked it up? I'm serious. I'm serious. Where has the UN gone anywhere in the world and not fucked it up? They went into Libya, right? Fucked it up. The United States had to fix it. They went into Liberia, fucked it up. The United States had to send a few ex-rebels, some guys from special services and fix that mess. They went into Syria and said, you guys got to stop fighting. They didn't stop fighting. Man, it's been massacres ever since the UN got involved. Where in the world have they gone that they haven't fucked up? Anybody thinks the UN's going to take over the world, I got news for you. You fucked up. So, and people in this country think gun control is such a good thing. I got another news story for you. Since we're talking about news of the world, right? India. God went on a killing rampage. I mean, he killed everyone, right? Well, not the boys and not the men, because apparently they weren't in the village at the time. They weren't in the village at the time. And India's got some measure of gun control, right? So what did the guy use? He used a hatchet. He hatcheted the people to death. He killed 5 little girls and 4 women with a hatchet. Injured a lot of others too. This begs the question, right? Indian doctor said that there's something wrong with this guy. And I'm thinking to myself, you think? You think guy kills a whole bunch of women and girls? And you're questioning whether he's in his right mind or not? Of course the guy ain't in his right mind. Come on, give me a break. At the end of the day, this guy's going to get executed, unlike some people in this country who do the same thing. And you got to wonder, it's like the guy's not in his right mind. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. You go to any guy who's done the same thing in this country, gun or no gun, right? Colorado guy shot up a movie theater. They're having his trial this week. And they had this psychologist guy who was seeing the guy. The guy was going to a mental health expert. And the psychologist says, I called the police and told them there was not something right with the guy. And they said there was nothing that we could do. I'm thinking to myself, we want guns control, right? Gun control in this country. And we got psychologists calling up the police and saying, this guy ain't right in the head, you got to do something. And they're saying there's nothing they can do by the law. Man, something's got to change on that one. I mean, there's no respect for the jury system anymore. There isn't. Like, we put 12 people and some number of alternates, because, you know, if those 12 people can't reach a decision, we don't want to just declare mistrial right away. So we have a whole bunch of people sitting in a box in a courtroom judging somebody. And people crap on the jury system. I'm like, would you like it if you just had to impress one guy? One judge, right? How's that not corrupt? I mean, seriously. Guys, that judge would be getting a whole heck of a lot of backroom deals, but it's pretty hard to bribe 12 plus jurors. I mean, you'd have to be paying through the nose to do that. It's a good system. It's a good system, right? Innocent until proven guilty by a jury of your peers. One of the best systems in the world. Because if you're getting screwed over, they're gonna say it. They're gonna know it. If you're not getting screwed over, you're fucked. You go to other countries, right? People go, well, there's innocent people in prison. You go to other countries, there's a lot of innocent people that are in prison. Because they got to prove their innocence. At least in this country, all you have to do is prove that you couldn't have done it. That's it. Right? You don't have to prove that you're innocent. You just have to prove that somebody else could have done it. That's it. It's a pretty good system. Got OJ off. Got Michael off. And there's people saying now that they don't want this open to civil trials. I was on the Twitter the other day, and it's like people are going, we don't want this system for civil trials. You know, we don't need the 7th Amendment in the Constitution anymore. And it was mostly because people are defending the Second Amendment. And people are going, well, that's kind of outdated. You know what the most outdated amendment in the Bill of Rights is? The Third Amendment. When was the last time that was used in trial? Before Bush used it. So he could spy on you. Yep, that's right, he did. I mean, we have 10 amendments to the Constitution for a reason. For a reason. Because people were getting screwed over from the time we had a Constitution, and before we had a Constitution, till the time we passed those amendments. And even after those amendments, people were still getting screwed over because we needed more amendments. And the gun control people, they're only pissed because their legislation is quote-unquote unconstitutional. I'm like, try to find a constitutional argument, bitch. Ain't that hard. Jeez, people. You want to change the whole Constitution because you don't think it agrees with you. That just shows you're losing right there. You're losing and you're pissy about it. People, I got this on Monday. And I knew this story was brewing to a certain extent. But I didn't know it was going to blow up this bad. Because people say some pretty stupid things out there. They do. They say some pretty stupid things. You got this guy called Mick Philpot. And the guy's kind of famous. I mean, if you watch these shows, people loving their 3 wives. Used to have the song. My father lives in Texas, my mom in Tennessee, but I live in Utah with my 3 wives and me. The guy had 2 wives, right? 2 wives and a ton of kids. In fact, it was said at the beginning of his trial that he'd do one wife one night and he'd do the other wife the other night, and he'd go back to the first wife, and it was great. It was a great life. Man, you know a guy's crazy if he's got 2 wives, because both of those wives will be driving that guy up the wall. You got one wife that's bitching that she didn't get her 350 latte from Starbucks, and you'll have the other wife bitching that he's never at home. I'm like, if you gotta support 2 wives, you're gonna be working a lot of times, boy. You're gonna be working a lot. Well, apparently he wasn't, because his family was on welfare. It came out at the trial. The family was on welfare. And both wives were getting welfare as single women. Now, he says he was married to both of them. So you got fraud going on. You got a whole litany of people going, well, see, this is what's wrong with the welfare system in Britain. This is in the UK, by the way. You should have known it from the name Philpot. Come on. Only the worst one than that is Philpot. So, Mick Philpot, he's on trial. Not for trying to kill his wife. Well, he tried to kill his wife. And his story is, and I love this story, only to this regard, how stupid of an idiot are you? This goes in that file of how stupid of an idiot are you? He set fire to his own home. That's right. He was trying to kill his wife. Apparently, she did drive him up the wall too much, because he was trying to kill his wife. So he set fire to his own home, and he was going to get the kids out, but unfortunately, by the time he got it in his mind to get the kids out, the fire put the whole home up in smoke. And he's going, I mean, if you've ever seen an English court, it ain't as nice as an American court. I'll tell you that right now. You don't have that many liberties. And he's going into an English court saying, you can't find me guilty of killing my kids because I didn't mean to. I only meant to kill my wife. Like, yeah. I don't know about England, but Chancellor George Osborne, guy was born in the land of Oz, you know, Wizard of Oz. You don't wonder if he knows any of the Munchkins. Chancellor George Osborne says that this is the problem with the welfare system, right? That this guy having 2 wives against the law and multiple kids, which isn't so much against the law, but ain't right, was sitting on his butt doing nothing except for interviews on TV stations that he could have got paid for. I don't know why he didn't. Defrauding the system when they're having austerity. And that not only should this guy have been fined and should be fined by the courts, but every other woman doing this should be looked into. I'm like, man, you really do like spending money over there, don't you, Fritz? You know how much money that's going to take, Mr. Chancellor George Osborne? He apologized later, saying that while not everyone on welfare was defrauding the system, there was some people cheating the system. And that's what he meant to convey. Like putting the foot a little bit further down his mouth. I'm hoping he's hitting his gag reflex soon. I like people like that because it makes me laugh. But truth be told, he's done. He ain't going anywhere. He ain't getting any more political career. He's done. And it's going on everywhere. I mean, everywhere. They're going on everywhere. We got the story in Maine, broke this week. The foster care system ain't going broke. People are going to lose $11 per day per kid. And you got some people that's got 5 or more kids. That's a big chunk of change. And they were bitching on the TV. Bitching on the TV. They're going, we might lose our home. I'm like, if you're having to live off of foster care checks to pay for your home, maybe you shouldn't have had that many kids. I'm just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. I mean, you should be able to afford a foster kid if you're going to be part of the foster care system. We tell parents that, don't we? You shouldn't be having kids. You should be going down to Planned Parenthood right now and making sure you can afford your kid. Because if you can't afford your kid, we need to abort it. You poor boy. You're just a poor old person. We don't. I mean, look at Planned Parenthood's website. That's what they say. They're all about economically being able to afford the kid. So if we're going to be telling parents that, we should damn sure make sure that foster parents can afford their foster kids. I mean, this is common sense. No offense to anybody out there who's taking a drug baby in until they can find a good home for it. But if you can't afford it, and it looks like you can't, some of you got 5, 6 kids, then you shouldn't be having them. It's common sense. Just putting it out there. Put a couple kids back in the system. We'll find somebody else to take them. Give them back to their parents. Apparently, we've got too many parents having their kids taken from them without just cause. We had that last week on the news of the week, didn't we? So now the foster care system is going broke. It's having to cut foster care checks. You know something? We shouldn't be paying people to take care of this. They should be doing it out of their good Christian heart. They want to harp on Muslims, but I tell you something, in a Muslim country, if a man can't take care of his kids, he gives it to his brother. If his brother can't take care of the kids, he gives it to his brother. And on down the line, up to the parents. You take care of your parents, your grandparents, your kids, your grandbabies. That ain't government's job, that's your job, right? So out of your good Christian hearts, you got foster kids. Takes care of them. Takes care of them. Out of the goodness of your heart. I'll tell you something, I'd take a drug baby right now. Oh Lord, I'd find a way to do it. Because it's the right thing to do. If that baby ain't got parents who can take care of it, their parents are dead, or their parents are too into drugs to taking care of it, and they ain't getting out of the druggy lifestyle, I'll take it. Out of the goodness of my heart, I don't want no check. And I had a story out of Montana this week. Kid went in front of a student conduct committee, and he wasn't happy about the decision, and he bitched in an op-ed piece, and they're looking into this because it was a violation of his civil rights. He went to church on a weekday when he was supposed to be in class, and the teacher intentionally scheduled a test that the kid failed because he wasn't in class. And the teacher made sure, the professor made sure that that student's test was 50% of his grade. 50%. Now, the student wasn't running good grades to begin with, so it's not like this was the deal of, well, one teacher screwed him over and college kicked him out. He had pretty poor, piss poor grades. But the teacher did this, and the teacher admitted he did this, because the teacher was an atheist. And the kid was some type of Christian. And I don't have so much of a problem with the school other than this. If your teacher is intentionally scheduling a test to screw one kid over, that's a teacher that needs to be gone. Now, it's the student's fault he didn't make the test. I give him that. I give the college that. But that's no reason to throw a kid out of college, which is what they did. He violated his quote-unquote probation, so apparently a couple other people were pissed off at him. He went to the student conduct committee saying the teacher violated his civil rights, and the Student Conduct Committee said, we don't care. Come on, people. Think about it. Think about it. Now, most of us, we laugh at this. We do, because, let's face it, it is funny that when you think about it, that the kid pissed off one test to go to church, okay? So anyhow, North Carolina, they passed this law that if your kid is in college and they register to vote, by register to vote, you no longer get a state tax credit. Now, mind you, this only applies to people in North Carolina. Don't apply to people in South Carolina. It does not apply to people in Maine and California and Montana or any other bitch-ass state. Only people in North Carolina. So if your kid's out of state paying out-of-state tuition, which is more than in-state tuition for anybody who hasn't gone to college and doesn't know that, then you all are okay. The only people this affects is the people in North Carolina, and they expect that some parents, when their kids are doing this, registering to vote in the college town, some parents are saving about, on average, $3,000. I'm like, you take the population of Carolina, split it into three, thereabouts. Take a third of that, split it into three again, because you got elementary, high school, and college. And that's the amount of parents that are affected. Now, 3,000 times that number is a good chunk of change. And that will help the state of Carolina pay down its debts. So all you people out there bitching that those kids don't have the right to vote, they can vote in their college town, or they can vote in their hometown, because we got a wonderful thing in this system called absentee ballot. We do. Our absentee ballot. I do it every time. You know why I do it every time? Because it's freaking easy. All I got to do is fill out the ballot, send it in the mail the day before the election, and it counts, because every vote counts. All right? So you guys stop pissing about your rats and start pissing for the right reasons. These people are getting a tax break of $3,000. That $3,000, that'll help that state out. My state's hurting worse. My state should even look into that. You should all be for this. You're all about paying thy fair share. Somebody was pitching on this one too. That pay thy fair share, they actually came out and admitted it on the Twitter. I was actually shocked. Pay thy fair share means only big oil, according to this person. I won't put his name out there. There's no point in it. But pay thy fair share is only for big oil. Well, I got news for you. I'm one of these people that's full of balanced budget. I don't care if they hike the taxes. I don't. We'll pay them. We'll pay them, or we won't be American citizens anymore. Because that's basically what it comes down to. If you don't pay your income tax, you ain't a citizen anymore. You're either in prison or you're in a foreign country hiding from the law. It's God's honest truth. You don't pay the sales tax, you don't get the item. You don't pay the gasoline tax, you don't drive your car. We either pay the tax or we ain't a citizen. So, I'm all for paying the fair share. I'm all for raising the taxes for one thing, and one thing only, and that's to pay down the debt. And if you ain't going to do that, I'm going to vote you out. And I'm going to tell everyone else to vote you out. I'm going to use the news of the week to say, we need to vote this bitch out. Because that's what it comes down to. We need to be paying down that debt. That's where you save the monies right there. I mean, you look at that. You start paying that debt down, you have less interest payments, you have more money that you can put towards the debt, which means less interest payments. If there's a point, you have no debt, you have no interest payments, and you got a shitload of cash coming in. And at that point, you can spend it on what you want. Tax breaks for the rich, Tax breaks for the poor. Tax breaks for anybody. You can spend it on health care, welfare. I don't freaking care. But as long as we've got that debt, we've got a problem. Well, it was a state, but we're going country now. We're going the big boys now. We're not doing the little boys, the state. But Ireland's a little bit bigger than North Carolina, but not much, okay? Ireland can't pay its debts. Ireland cannot pay its debts. And the International Monetary Fund told Ireland point blank, you need to stop spending money. Ireland has free health care, free child care, free this, free that. They have a lot of free shit that they pay for, right? And they've been borrowing money. And they've been doing the austerity thing, saying, well, if you have health care and you got cancer, we're going to let you die. If you have child care, you can only have child care till your child's old enough to go to school. And then you got to pay for it. You got to work, baby. You got to work to help us pay off these debts. Well, it's not working. It's not working. And so Ireland has gotten it into its bright head that it's going to borrow even more money. And then the International Monetary Fund said, no. And, we don't got the money for you, Ireland. You got to sober up. Now, there's three things I learned in this life when it comes to the Irish. Number one, Irish families tend to be strange. Let's call it what it is. They're strange. They will gossip about each other till the end of the day. But if you crap on one person in an Irish family, you're crapping on the whole gosh darn family. Don't do it. Warning you. Two, most Irish are Catholic. So you can't do a forced abortion policy in Ireland like China does. Basically put, you're screwed. You can't use condoms, you can't use birth control because it's all not Catholic. Roman Catholic happens to be the state religion over there. So that ain't going to work. And number three, don't under any circumstances tell an Irishman he's got to sober up. I dare you to go down to a bar and do that. You're going to beat the crap out of you. Bank president was lucky. He was all the way overseas. The Irishman was too drunk to get to him. By the time the Irishman got in the plane and flew over there, assuming the plane didn't have liquor on it, he'd be sober by the time he got there. You do not tell an Irishman to sober up. Don't do it. Warning you. You knew where I was going with this because this thing hit on Monday in the United States and Canada and in the UK. It's been going on for weeks over there and nobody paid attention to it till these Amnesty International idiots, these godless wonders, got it in their bright heads that this was wrong. Saudi Arabia, a guy is sentenced to be paralyzed. Paralyzed. Well, he might get killed. If he gets killed, we'll probably kill somebody who tried, who was supposed to paralyze him. Life for life. Now, that's what the book says. But it's that eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth thing, right? This guy paralyzed another man in a crime. He was committing a crime. I believe he was drunk driving, but don't quote me on that. I missed that part of the story. But this guy paralyzed another guy. So the punishment from the judge is the guy is to be paralyzed, not able to walk anymore. They're going to make sure this guy cannot walk. Now, you're talking a country that if you thieve something, they cut off your hand. If you rape somebody, they cut off the other thing. So they're a real eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of country. Right? Amnesty International has a problem with that. The godless people that they are. Saying this is cruel and inhumane punishment. Now, the Christian people believe in this. They believe in it. So do the Jews. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Us Muslims were the same way. You kill my family member, I'm sure as hell gonna kill your family member. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That's what the books say, don't it? So all you people out there that's bitching because this guy's gonna get paralyzed, I got one thing to say to you. If it was your family member, wouldn't you want the guy paralyzed? Speaking of guys who kill people, we're back on this subject. But funny. This guy gets my Dumbass of the Week award. I don't know that I'll do a Dumbass of the Week award for the whole rest of the news of the week. But this guy get my Dumbass of the Week award. You know why I get my Dumbass of the Week award? He's down in Brazil. Let me paint the story for you. Guy down in Brazil. Brazil. He on a bus. He cruising along. He just got off his shift. Claims he had a long day. Boo freaking who, right? So he's on the bus, and the bus is driving along, and the bus driver misses the guy's stop. And I'll go to hell after that. The guy was apparently so irate, he started kicking the bus driver in the head. Okay, dude and dudettes, do not try this at home. Alright? Not what I'm about to do, but what this guy did. Starts kicking the bus driver in the head. Like he did not know what was going to happen next. The bus crashed, a lot of people died, and it's a tragic story. If you're in not much of a hurry to get to where you're going and the bus driver misses your stop, go on to the next stop. Get off there. You kick that guy in the head, you ain't never going to get home. Unless your home's up there in the pearly gates. But we brought you Justin Trudeau. We brought you Diane Abbott. And now we're bringing you, I gotta read this name because it was bad, Diane Daggett. Representative Diane Daggett of the great state of Colorado. She represents the people in Denver, Colorado. And, I guess the town of Aurora falls into her jurisdiction too, whatever that means. Right? So the trial of this guy who shot up the movie theater in Colorado has been big news. No point mentioning his name. We all know it. And this Diane Daggett, she goes, she understands why we need to ban the clips. But once somebody uses the clip, it's no good anymore. It doesn't have any bullets. That's what she said. I'm thinking to myself, does this lady even know how a gun works? Okay? I'm going to go get you a prop for this. Hold on, I'll be right back. This is Diane Daggett. This baby right here is called a banana clip. It's called a banana clip because it's got a shape like a banana. That's easy enough. Now in this clip you have bullets, right? I believe this is a 10-shot clip. Don't quote me on that. Because I'd have to take all the bullets out. Now this is a 7.22 millimeter bullet. Okay, 7.22 millimeter bullet. Now, you put the bullet in the clip like so, right? And it's ready to go. And then you put this clip into your gun. And the gun starts shooting the bullets. When the clip is empty, you get the bullets out of the package and you start filling the clip up again. Now, Ms. Diane Daggett and anyone else who's lived in a city and never touched a gun in your life, is that simple enough to understand? So, Ms. Daggett after putting her foot in her mouth, got it all up in her head that she needed to explain herself further. And this is why I like people like this. Justin Trudeau does this all the time, and you like him for that. The guy's going to be prime minister someday. He's got a legacy to uphold. So Miss Diane Daggett has it in her mind that she's got to fix this problem, right? Because she's put her foot in her mouth. Now, Justin Trudeau does this all the time, so she might want to call him up and say, you know, I'm sitting over here in Colorado. I put my foot in my mouth once. How do you get out of it? I know what he's going to say right now. You call a press conference. Now, he'd do it like this. You call the press conference. And you tell them that you are Miss Diane Daggett. Your legacy is, well, maybe you don't have a legacy like me because I am Justin Trudeau of the Trudeau family. My father was Pierre Trudeau. But you call up a press conference and you say to them that I am Diane Daggett. And I did not mean to say it that way. I meant to say that we need to sell Canadian oil to the United States. Because that will get you the vote. And you can bet if Miss Diane Daggett followed that advice from Justin Trudeau, that might work. At least in our country, in Canada, they'd laugh at him. You people. Some of you people are nice. I like it. I like talking to people. That's why I'm on the Twitter. I'm usually on the Twitter about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours a day, right? I'm on the Twitter. I like talking to people on the Twitter. I like talking to you on the emails. And you guys figured out how to get my email through the YouTube account. So I'll be checking that one more often than not because, man, I like reading emails. And you guys have been sending it to me. But I had one on the Twitter and I was just tickled pink. Because I also had one in the email. And they both were kind of the same thing. So let's start with the Twitter one, because that one made me happy. With a woman, I'm assuming it's a woman, because it's got the name Diva in it. Could be a man. Could be a man. Let's put it out there. So the Down East Diva say, I don't know, I don't want to hear about your GOP, which is stupid Democratic speak for Republican. I don't want to hear about your GOP rants. Go back to where you came from, you Canuck. Apparently she's not watching close enough. I'm from the United States. If I go back where I come from, I'm going back to America. And down east, that's pretty much Maine. That's pretty much my state. Right? So you don't got a whole lot of brains going on right there anyhow. And this is why I don't get it. I mean, I'm a nice guy. So, you know, I kind of treat people nice. I do. I treat people nice until you start pissing me off. Or you get on my bad side. Or both. Then you're in trouble. But if you're going to go around calling me a GOP Republican, you're doing two things. First of all, you're pissing off the Republicans because they don't want me. I'm too liberal for them. And I can prove that. I can prove that right here. Because I also have an email here from a guy that's R.W. Log Cabin. Log Cabin. And he says, you Obama-loving idiot. The stuff you say make me sick. I'm an Obama-loving idiot. But apparently I'm with the GOP. So I must be one of those things they call a rhino, R-I-N-O. Because the GOP don't like me, the Democrat don't like me. I'm in a bad place. But the down east diva, I mean seriously, the people like you are the reason the Democratic Party is going down the tube. It is. And the R.W. Locke cabin, same to you with the Republican Party. You got one group on one side says, if you ain't with us, you're the other side. You got one group on the other side saying, if you ain't with us, you're the other side. So they're playing ping pong with the people that do the voting. At some point, those people are going to get sick. I'll give you another instance today on the Twitter. All right, I don't need to say the guy's name because he's an idiot. At least the Down East diva, it's fun making fun of people like that. This guy was just a complete idiot. He says on the Twitter that he's tired of the GOP's uneducated rants. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he says, well, they don't believe in evolution. And I said, well, there's a problem with evolution. Okay? There's holes in evolution. Even the evolutionists, people, the scientists that are in the evolution thing will admit there are holes in it. They don't have the whole fossil record. Now, when they have the whole fossil record, they'll be able to prove the theory. Or at least that's the going logic right now. Okay, but they'll admit that. They'll admit it's statistically unsound. They'll admit that. The scientists will even go as far as to admit that if you try to apply the principles, the scientific principles of Darwin's theory of natural selection to population, you're going to be a right-wing lunatic. They'll admit that. So let's face it. If you're going to be out there and you're going to be doing evolution, you got some holes in your theory. Pointed this out to this guy in one tweet. One tweet usually takes me 3 or 4. Because I just get annoyed by people like that. The next tweet, he curses at me, swears at me, yells at me, and calls me an idiot. I'm like, dude, if you want to debate, I don't have a problem debating. But if you're going to curse, you're going to swear at me, you're going to drop the F word, you already lost. You lost. Give it up. Go away. Admit defeat. Drops the F-bomb. And he proceeds to think that he's making fun of me. As I point out, not only do I point out every flaw, not only do I point out that he lost the debate by swearing, but I even point out that I made fun of him without swearing. Because I'm that type of person, I can do that. And the guy just goes, well, look at this effing idiot. I'm like, oh, geez, do it again. Swear at me again? Did I piss you off by showing that you were really uneducated? An educated person would be able to debate on the ideas. You uneducated, you ain't worth it. 4 boys' time, 7 boys' time. And he says he likes to make fun of people from the South. The people from the South make fun of people from the South. You know why? Because we funny. A boy like you, I bet he's from New York. I'm betting he's from New York. You know why? Because the people in New York don't know how a gun works. They're for gun control because they're afraid of getting shot because the criminals have guns and knows how they work, and they don't. And if you ain't for gun control, well then you're just a poor uneducated idiot. At least I know, and showed you, how a gun works. And finally, I'm going to go with Vermont housewife who sent me an email. Who, I guess, watched the other video and got bored. I don't know how you can get bored watching the news of the week, but okay, she got bored. She said, your last video, you didn't need to talk about the hockey and the sports. You could have cut that out. That's your opinion. Like, I asked a direct question. I answered it. In the emails, too. It's in the email section. And I'm only going to say it to this way. When you pan me to talk about stuff on the news of the week, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about whatever you pay me to talk about. I'll earn my paycheck. But when I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart to make you laugh and make your day a little bit better, smile, smile. I know you want to. I can see you. I can see you want to smile. Smile. Smile, boy. When I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart to make you laugh, put my name out there on the internet, not earning a cent or very little cents. I think I'm getting about 2 or 3 cents a week. I'm going to talk about what I want to. Somebody sends me an email, says, how do you think the hockey season's going to turn out? I'm going to talk about it. Somebody sends me an email, says, what do you think about the Red Sox? Well, they ain't doing too well right now. I think they're 50-50 at this particular moment. They might have had a game and like dropped a couple ranks. But I'm going to talk about what I want to. I'm going to be talking about my things. So Vermont Housewife, you want me to cut the sports out of the news of the week? Which, by the way, you didn't bitch about the cricket guy. I noticed that. I talked about the cricket guy, got the crap beat out of them. They found the guys who did it anyways. They couldn't release the names because they were on the Aussies cricket team. Who knows how that worked out. But I'm going to talk about the crap that I like. Now, I'm doing a couple stories next week. And I think they're going to blow up into something funny. I think so. I think they're going to blow up into something funny. And when I do, I'm going to be there to laugh about it. Now, you guys, you can keep sending your hate mail. I'm going to turn it into something funny. Just like I did the Downey's Diva bitch. I'm going to turn it into something funny. You know why? Because it's funny. And you send me news stories, these sad stories, I'm going to turn them into something funny. Like the guy who kicked the bus driver. It's a sad story, but it's funny. So, and if you can find me a politician that's got their foot in their mouth, I tell you, I'll turn that into something funny. I got no problem doing a Justin Trudeau of the Week award. So, long story short, working on this thing for next week. It might be a day late because I think there's going to be a story that's going to hit Thursday. And you all have a gooder for that reason.